Welcome back to Next Gen Investing. It's now time to talk many of these names in the crypto world. We'll start off maybe with Mara Holdings, which is lower today, trading lower after they did announce a 13% month-over-month decline in January of their Bitcoin production. So they produced about 750 Bitcoins in the month compared to 865 in December of 2024. So this is a really interesting update because this, unlike Microstrategy, which is oftentimes read as like that somewhat, I would say, basically like holding company of Bitcoin, Mara is a bit different. So the Bitcoin miner has been volatile, yes, but has also been definitely a winner of a lot of the hype surrounding crypto. But I will say that the Trump administration has been so busy that it feels like we are in somewhat of a lull in crypto because everything else is so volatile.
Yeah, so let's start with Bitcoin in general. Huge gap down alongside the overall market, right? But it's stabilized, and it's actually hardly even down when you look at it now. It's back over 100,000 when you look at the active month futures for February. So impressive price action today, considering all that's going on. And it's one of those situations too, Jenny, where I think there was sort of this sell everything, ask questions later approach from some market participants. You also think about the fact that crypto is the only thing that's really fully open throughout the weekend. So it was one of the places that risk off could be expressed when the rest of the markets were closed. But what does Bitcoin have to do with tariffs? Really not that much, unless you think that it's going to just remove excess capital from the system. Now, what's really fun when you start comparing this and talking about things with Marathon Digital, in my mind, Jenny, is this is kind of the age-old question that you see in the gold market of, do you want to be in gold miners that are a little bit higher beta, that move around a little bit more, or do you want to be in gold itself, which has been a little bit more of a stable asset through history? And the answer is, well, it depends on what part of the cycle you're in. And so as long as Bitcoin continues to go up, one would think a company mining Bitcoin could perform well as well. However, it's going to come down to cost of power. It's going to come down to the volatility and how quickly things are moving up and the excitement around this space. So it's not as traditional as just regular gold miners where there's a math equation you can figure out. In this case, so much of crypto is hype.
It is. And I think, frankly, that's exactly why we can see crypto move on the threat of tariffs, which have nothing objectively to do with, at all. They just don't really coincide with each other. And I've tried to find the correlation. There really isn't any, other than the fact that Trump himself has said that Americans could feel some more pain with, of course, the rising price and cost of goods. So what I will say is, well, the move in Bitcoin futures today is modest, but to the downside. Yes, we've pulled back over the weekend now, still back over 100,000. Where we've seen some more volatility is some of the riskier assets like the Ethereum's, Dogecoin, other popular cryptocurrencies, like the Trump coin, which launched after he took office and then plunged. So that name has been volatile, but that's the nature of I think, getting into something that does have that volatile nature. A lot of these individual equities that do have the exposure to, of course, the crypto world also see very frequent volatility. Coinbase today down 3%, Riot down 1 3/4. But Microstrategy, amazingly enough, oftentimes to me seen as just basically a holding company of Bitcoin, didn't say that in the week that ran through February 2nd that they didn't acquire any new Bitcoin. That was the same week they priced their preferred stock offering, which they disclosed earlier today. That name, though, with a clean green day as it stands right now, up about 1.3%.
Yeah, and I guess maybe the thought is maybe they bought some on the dip and they, improved their position, perhaps. But to me, MicroStrategy is a leveraged Bitcoin play. They're borrowing money and they're using the funds largely to buy more Bitcoin. So that's what differentiates it from these other companies. Of course, Marathon and all these other ones, they're going out there and they're creating Bitcoins essentially through the mining process. MicroStrategy is just essentially a portfolio manager of Bitcoin, and they're just getting more and more money through issuing preferred shares or leveraged convertible debt. And it's worked. It's made them, a relevant company in 2025. And I don't know that many would push back. It probably wouldn't be if it didn't make this decision to get involved in Bitcoin however many years ago.
I know, and it has been lucrative to them. I mean, as of February 2nd, the company did hold a total of 471,000 Bitcoin, which were acquired at a total purchase price of around $30.4 billion and an average price of around $64,500 per Bitcoin, including fees and expenses. Stock was initially slumping 7.6% earlier today, before then now being up about 1%. So again, volatile.
So I should know this, but I don't. MicroStrategy is the biggest single holder of Bitcoin,
Yes.
right?
Yes, I believe, I said so confidently, but I believe so, yes.
Okay, I mean, I don't see how they wouldn't be. I mean, the position is just absolutely massive when you think about how much they have, currently tied up in this. But one of the things that, could make it appealing to some is that leverage component, is the fact that you don't have to go directly to that asset, don't have to go to the futures market, don't have to use some sort of a, exchange traded product. You can go to, an equity that's involved with it and get that exposure that way.
Okay, yes, just to confirm, it is the largest company that holds. There are there are some individual people that own comparable. Yes, like the Winklevoss twins are ones that's listed high. Well, they're not as high as MicroStrategy now. They are the largest company that has holdings in Bitcoin. But there's various people that allegedly have more. That's more speculation, though. I would say that.
They're in the conversation.
Yeah, they're in the conversation, exactly. But we will leave it here for our Bitcoin discussion, as Bitcoin down about 1%, just over 1.6% today. Not seeing a huge move to the downside, but MicroStrategy, as we know, the name that continues to churn higher. We'll have to see where we close in the overall space. We'll leave it there, though, for our discussion.